Welcome. It is no accident that you have found your way to the Release the Genie podcast. What would you do with 3 wishes? And what if you discovered that you are in fact that very genie that could grant them? Well, join us now as we discover who our next genie is as we listen in and learn the stories of triumph, inspiration, and passion with some very special guests. And now, without further delay, your host of the Release the Genie podcast, Mr. Paul Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are tuning in from. Today we have got such a special guest. I'm so excited to be in the presence of this wonderful lady. I'm just going to give a quick rundown just to tease everyone. She's a CEO and founder of Feminine Leaders, where she designs high caliber results, passion, and vision are her watchwords. I mean, brilliant watchwords. She also has a self-leadership mastermind mentor programs as well. If that wasn't enough, she's a master NLP, hypnotherapy, and wellness coach. And it doesn't stop there. She's also a sought after motivational speaker. I'm going to take a breath. And a top ranked in the top 8 women leadership in the New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territories. And to finish on a real high note, a finalist for the 2020 Mumpreneur Awards in Leadership. So without further ado, I'd love to bring on my lovely guest of Ela Staniak.
Yes. Hello, Paul. It is so nice to be here, and thank you so much for your kind introduction.
I hope I've left you something to talk about, because I could have gone on and on. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because I know you've got some really fantastic stories. So over this course of this interview, we're going to get really into it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'd love to. So today I run a company called Feminine Leaders, where we really focus on awakening feminine leadership. Our true mission is to be a world leader in developing and delivering educational personal development programs for women, but also providing women with amazing transformational events. Another thing that we do is also we deliver performance and leadership programs to individuals and organizations all over the world. So very exciting times. It's an exciting space to be in. And I am really, really grateful to now be able to do this from Sydney, Australia.
There we are. We can kind of tell by your accent that you're not a local Aussie. So I know you're going to dive into that a bit later. And so what I'd love to do is I'd now love to, for you to please share with you that aha moment, that release the genie moment. If you can talk us through that, please.
I would love to. Yes, I have been living in Sydney, Australia for 10.5 years, and it really wasn't until I came here and I finally had a chance to experience the whole world in one city. In Sydney, you can find people from all over the world, every single culture on the earth, every single cuisine, language. I was exposed at such a young age to so much variety. It was absolutely beautiful. In saying that, I also began being very obsessed about why do some people achieve great success in life and others don't? And if I spun it around, the real question was, why can't I have what I want? And I see other people being able to achieve amazing results in their health, in their relationships, and in their career. My biggest aha moment was, I remember it was a really significant moment. I was sitting on a beautiful Bondi Beach. It's a world-known beaches here in Sydney. reading a book, Celestine Prophecy, which talks about the purpose of our life and how every single experience is necessary in our life in order for us to truly find ourselves, find our purpose, find our soul, find who we truly are in core. And I remember reading the book, and there was one significant sentence which said, and again, it was a storybook, but it really resonated. Before we are even born, the consciousness is already alive, and it chooses the parents being able to foresee the lifetime, being able to see all the experiences and events, but it chooses its parents and that particular family to experience the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the pain and the happiness, the hardship and the lightness, in order to truly find itself again. And it was a huge aha moment, even though it was just a story. I thought to myself, what if it would be a possibility? And that gave me a lot of insight on the difficulty which I experienced in my childhood and the difficulty which I was experiencing at that time, not being able to have the health, the relationships, and the career that I really wanted. And then I thought to myself, what if I am just finding myself? And it really stayed with me. It stayed with me for the last, it's been 10 years now. So it really stayed with me for that long. And I always ask myself, what am I learning here? What if I'm just finding my path? What if I'm not even close yet to discovering my full potential? What if I am just on path in the process of my journey to discovering myself?
Do you know, it's so wonderful hear you talk, because it gives you that perspective that, you know, you can just push everything away and think, okay, what is this actually doing, rather than getting stuck into the moment. So I can see, and I can certainly relate to what you say, and I know my my listeners and tribe there will be thinking, oh yes, this is exactly it. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I hope I haven't sort of tripped over what you would say is one of your inspiring quotes. So if it's the one you just said, fine. If you've got another one, that's a bonus. So go for what you like.
I'm going to give you another one just to spice things up even more. Look, as much as the story which I just shared might sound very spiritual and very, very out there, the quote which I'm going to give you is very rational but empowering at the same time. And I use it every single day towards myself, towards my clients, and even all over my social media. And it is, you are the one and only CEO of your life.
I love that. I mean, that is wonderful. I've heard Bob Proctor, the great Bob Proctor, saying, you know, don't be an extra in your own movie. And that CEO is, yeah, that's fire there. So if you have one takeaway, everyone, that is it. And I go and use that in your everyday talking, because that is wonderful. Now, like in any good story, there always has to be a setback, something you've had to overcome. So perhaps you could share what you've had to overcome in your sort of setback story.
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Look, there have been probably a few very significant moments in my life, and I really do think that most of them happened in my first in childhood and then when I was a teenager. Probably the most significant moment in my life was, I remember, it was year 2003. It was 1st of April. And I was just getting ready. I was home alone. I was getting ready to go to school. And the phone rang. And it was my mother's friend giving me the news that unfortunately, more than likely, my mom is just about to pass away.
Oh.
and I was home alone. I called my brother. I know that he went to my school where my mom worked, I didn't really see him until he came home and said, unfortunately, mom passed away. It was a very significant moment in my life for a variety of reasons. Number one, to be home all alone and to be processing the gravity of the situation was just an extraordinary experience, which I carried the burdens of with me for many years to come, many years after that. Another significant aspect to this experience was the unpredictability that this could happen. It was just, it was such something, it did never even cross my mind in such young age that this could happen. Another layer to the situation was that my parents were divorced at that time, and my father had a very bad drinking problem. So I just knew he wasn't going to be in the picture with any help or support. And I talk about this moment often because that particular story was something that really ties up to what I talked about when I read the book, 8 years later, being an adult then. This gave me a lot of perspective, number one, how strong but also fragile our life is. Number two, that long-term disempowerment and lack of valuing ourselves, whether this is in healthy relationships or our career, it has a tremendous effect on our lives, and ultimately sometimes it can cost us our life. And number three, I learned that when you are faced with the situation which is unthinkable, or the situation which you believe it is just too difficult to overcome, when you find yourself overcoming that challenge, that obstacle, more than likely you are going to see the most significant lessons in life in it. And that stays with you, that shapes you, that makes you a person of great resilience, grit, and more importantly, those lessons really allow you to, in the future, become a teacher or a supporter to someone who needs help in overcoming with a similar or the same experience later on.
I mean, being able to turn something like that, which is a shock, a tragic event, into something which is of an empowering nature is, blows me away. And, you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. And I can very easily see how you can give so much value to your clients and ladies, because, that's powerful stuff. So bravo, and thank you very much for sharing it. I think that really gives a deep insight into what your sort of your key motivation is. So thank you. I'm going to ask you an exciting thing. Was, what are you working on at the moment? Because this is going to be, you're so busy. So tell us what's cooking in your kitchen at the moment.
I'm so excited. I would love to. Look, there are a few things. The first thing, which is, I'm just going to talk maybe about a few projects or a few branches that feminine leaders are really about. Number one is that we deliver personal and professional development programs for individuals, but also teams in the organizations, which really focus on diversity and inclusion. So we especially search for environments which want to either hire more women or have greater understanding of multiculturalism. We really inspire that togetherness and understanding of our unconscious bias, of our thoughts, our beliefs. We really glue motivation and behavioral psychology together to deliver the programs so people can access their genius zone in the workplaces, but also individually. This is what we call self-leadership. Another thing that we do, we actually partner up with female CEOs, executives, and business owners, and we provide them with amazing experience of a 6-month mastermind program, which is based on mostly one-on-one intimate coaching with additional group setting. And in those programs, we really work through 7 steps from lostness and disempowerment to the greatest level of taking responsibility, taking action, but ultimately becoming that CEO of your career, your health, and your relationships. And a third thing that we do is we actually just launched a new project called Feminine Leaders Mastermind. And these are monthly events for women where we host a world-class best speakers who are experts in business, in relationships coaching, in well-being and fitness. And we provide a space for belonging, connection, and support and inspiration for those women who actually feel isolated and lonely in their journeys. We believe that there is nothing worse than a woman feeling disempowered. Yes, that connects to my personal journey, but that also really inspires me to go to all places in the world to provide women with whatever tools we have, whether it is attending an online event or providing online education or providing free resources. We want to provide women all over the world with an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be inspired, to ultimately take charge of their lives. So what I am really proud of is that a big portion of the membership investment per person in our mastermind programs goes actually to as a donation to a charity, to an organization, to a foundation that focuses on supporting either women or children, and that foundation is chosen by a monthly speaker. We are in a process of tightening up a conversation with amazing brand ambassador who's very active in space of diversity and inclusion. So watch this space. It is all to be confirmed very soon. I think I am probably the most excited about this project right now.
It's wonderful. And, whilst you were talking, I had this vision of sort of a community which you're building. It's not just, it's a training program. This is a ongoing change of the way of thinking of a holistic as well. It's not, it's just business. It's everything. Yeah, I mean, at the moment we're still stuck in COVID. It's October. It hasn't gone away, and people are dislocated. So this is what people actually really need to hang on to. So bravo, a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I'm excited for you. So as you say, watch this space, people. This lady really is a rising star. So if you want to get autographs now, it will be very cheap, but as it goes on, it's going to go up in price. So we get now to one of my favorite parts of the show, where I ask the wonderful Genie if I could have my 3 wishes. So are you ready for your Genie moment?
Oh, I am so ready, Paul. Let's do this.
So here we go. Wish number 1. What has been the best advice you've ever received in your life?
Oh, wow. I've got 1 million thoughts now just spinning around in my head, because I must tell you, I have been so privileged and honored and really lucky to meet fantastic people in my life. Gosh, if I could just choose one.
Well, hey, if I can be greedy, I can ask for more than one.
Do you know what? I think I'm just going to I'm going to share a couple, if that's okay. The first one is probably that was one of the earliest ones, and I remember my mom used to repeat that a lot. especially when I was stubborn, very not interested to go to school. I went because I went, but it wasn't the most fun activity that I could choose. I must tell you, funny enough, and now I became such a nerd, and any course or any program I could do, I totally do it. My mom used to say that there are a lot of things that we can lose in life, or things that can be taken away from us, but our knowledge is something that stays with us forever.
Wow.
In other words, there is that famous quote that says, you cannot unknow the known.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you can't retract what you have said, and you know, that's wonderful advice. Oh my goodness, that's brilliant.
Like that one? I
Yeah.
like that one too. Um, and I'd like to share one more, if that's
Oh,
okay.
please do. I'm giving you the space to fill, so you go for the second one.
Amazing. I think the best advice that I got given, and I believe it was given to me by my very first business mentor here in Australia in 2016. And she said that for as long as you are staying true to yourself, who you are, and you are authentic, and you build your life and your business around that, you will never run out of resources, passion, energy, and motivation to just achieve your vision.
Staying on purpose. It's wonderful. It's like having
Three words, yes.
yeah, it's like having an arrow, straight shot and everything. So that's wonderful. And I managed to bag two for the price of one. So I'm happy. I'm a happy person at the moment. So I'm going to move on to my official wish number two, which would be, what advice would you give your younger self? Go to school? Or
Oh dear, oh dear. No, not to be honest, no, I still don't think that I learned the most valuable lessons or the knowledge that I needed in life in school. To be honest, if I could, I would completely transform educational system in every single country. Because I do believe that in a lot of areas, educational systems are incapacitating when it comes to our gifts and our passions and our true desires in fulfilling who we are. But look, not to go too deep into this.
no, but you're pushing on an open door there, so I agree. So
Repeat the question for me, Paul, so you
yeah,
can
no,
like
it's
take
fine.
it.
It's I need to make sure I'm clear on my wishes. So what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, Ella, I just feel like I need to hold myself away from laughing at all the beautiful mistakes and failures and epic failures that I had in my life. Um, do you know what? To be honest, there is something that created a lot of self-sabotage in my life. There is something that was really driving behaviors and actions in me that weren't really contributing to me achieving any greater result in my career and personal life. So one advice that I would give to myself, it would be, Ella, you are enough.
That is most probably the best gift you could possibly give yourself. So that's wonderful. Really, really good. So yeah, I think you too much you benefit enormously from that. So now I move on to my final wish, which
Oh no,
I
final
know.
wish.
I can't wish another three wishes either, which is really, yeah. So I'm on my third and final wish. What is one personal habit or habit you have which attributes to your success?
Just one. I love how you're really prioritizing my thinking here and stretching me to just focus on one thing. I think I am so used to presenting and talking about strategies and solutions in varieties of those aspects. Okay. One habit. Okay, I have my goals and my choices written down in multiple places very clearly. That means they're on my phone, they're in my digital calendars, just to put it all under one umbrella. I've got them on my vision board, which is always right above me here in my office. I have them written down in my diaries. I've got a couple of diaries, and I look at them every single day to stay on track. First of all, so I can really continuously remember what I am focusing on, because it's not just one goal. There are many. We're talking about health, relationships, business. It's not just business, right? It's also really important because that continues my emotional attachment to my goals. And if I know in the past when I didn't have that simple strategy of looking at my goals, but also plan of action that leads to every single goal, when I didn't have that, I found myself just bouncing in between state of action and inaction, success and lack of success, doing, not doing, moving forward, staying stuck, or moving backwards. It is a really powerful technique. For me, emotional attachment to my goal is something that really is a must on daily basis. And if it happens that I stop feeling passionate, excited about something that I am focusing on, I either redirect or I decide that it actually no longer serves me.
To be honest, it's I think infusing anything with emotion makes it colors it gives it that vibrance to keep going for it. So no, I love it. I think, fantastic and great advice for anyone listening. It's really how to do. So now we're coming to the sad part, which is near the end of the show, which is kind of sad. So is there a book which you can recommend to the listeners at all?
Once again, oh my goodness. Okay, I just wish I knew who your listeners were. What's the age group? Where are they at in their lives? How can I help them the most? Okay, I'm just going to mention the book which was probably one of the most transformative books, which I read at the beginning of my journey to self-discovery. And I'm just going to say once again, yeah, Celestine Prophecy. It's an excellent story. It's very easy to read. It really, for me at least, it opened my mind in a way that I allowed myself to wander more, rather than having a way of thinking which is very caged and rigid and based on my past experiences only.
Wonderful. I mean, that's what's the important thing is it's a book which you resonate, and there's a reason why. So that is all that you could possibly ever do. It's sharing something which is very personal to you. So thank you again. That's a really, really great way to approach it. So thank you. Well, with all this greatness, we all need to know how we can get hold of you. So tell us, where are you, and how can we get hold of you and hang out with you?
I am everywhere, guys. No, kidding. Total joke. Look, the best way to connect with me is either just hop on LinkedIn, Ela Staniak Leaupepe. You can find me there. I would love to connect. Or Instagram. I don't have Facebook at the moment because it just kind of got hacked and deactivated. So, oh well, so that's gone. Or you can jump on my website, www.feminineleaders.co, so CO at the end. You can just check out some of my programs there, my story, but also there is a contact form there, so you can totally get in touch with me there. And if your listeners would like to jump on Zoom and book in a 30 minutes self-leadership accelerator call with me, I am more than happy to serve.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you've got it here, ladies and gentlemen. We know where she lives. We know where she hangs out. So there is no excuse for anyone who's on the fence to actually just make that call. And it could be the start of a journey, which is, life-changing. Ella, thank you so much for being today's Genie. I hope you had some fun as well.
I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
No, to be honest, it's great. Your energy is infectious. I know that, that my listeners will be climbing the walls. So thank you once again. The wonderful Ella, who will building a community and masterminding. You heard it all here. So that is our Genie for this week. So thank you once again. And for the listeners, go now and release your Genie, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that's a wrap. You have been listening to yet another episode of the Release the Genie podcast with host Paul Rogers. Be sure to follow Paul on the LinkedIn platform and learn more of Paul's resources at www.takeactionacademy.ca. And until next time, as always, be mindful and be sure to release your Genie. Thanks for listening.